It was a dream. Just a dream, thought Frodo. I'm not about to enter Mordor. I'm back playing Huckleberry Finn. Things were much safer when I was a child actor. What? With this momentary mental dislocation behind him, Frodo continues his trek with his trusty dog's body, Sam, through the Emyn Muil, a tract of land as desolate as a supermarket car park and just as difficult to get out of. They spend days wandering around, lost and confused, like Sam's accent, which doesn't stand up to the strain. We are introduced to Lembas, an elvish travelling bread that the hobbits acquired in Lothlorien. One bite of this elvish wafer can sustain a grown man for a day. Since the hobbits appear to eat it by the slice, and since each slice is about an inch thick, we come to appreciate two things. Sam's masterful packing ability, it's either that or the elves have arranged food parcel drops, and the fact that elves have very thick wafers. They also make Tim Tams the size of a lilo. That's why they're worth visiting. That night by moonlight, we see Gollum, now all in one piece, climbing down the cliff in what appears to be his amazing gravity-defying butt flap. He fights with the hobbits for possession of the ring. Gollum used to be a creature much like a hobbit, but the evil and corrupting effects of the ring have turned him into that most twisted and surreal of creations, a CGI. He is now a half-crazed, greedy, grasping fanatic, covetous and vile, like a cross between a drug addict and a record company executive. Thank you to the musos in the audience for that clap. Gollum starts to throttle Sam, and Frodo, realising with horror that he might have to start cooking his own breakfasts, leaps into action. Grasping Gollum by the hair, the left hair in this case, he attempts his scary face on Gollum. And ends up looking about as threatening as a Girl Guide crossed with a Pokemon. Gollum, horrified that his carefully prepared comb-over has been ruined and his bald spot is showing, howls in anguish. Cut to Merry and Pippin, who have been grabbed by the Uruks. Pippin, who hasn't eaten in almost 10 minutes, suffers a hobbit-sized hunger pang and attempts to eat his leaf-shaped brooch, mistaking it for spinach. Just in time, he realises his error. He's always hated spinach, and he spits it out. The Uruk leader asks the Uruk tracker what he smells. The tracker, standing in the middle of 50 orcs who have just run a marathon, somewhat confused by this, as his nose shut down in self-defence some 15 leagues ago. The leader, feeling somewhat foolish, calls for a peculiarly orcish military manoeuvre known as stifle armpits. The tracker then scents the air. Man flesh, he says. Sure enough, we find Aragorn with his ears stuck to the ground. Legolas asks him what he knows. 50 orcs passed this way, says Aragorn. They carried 2 hobbits and were well armed. 3 had a limp, and 1 was wearing a t-shirt which said, I was once one of the once were warriors. Amazing, said Legolas. How do you know all this? Is it the ancient skill of the Dunedain Rangers of the Northern Wastes and heirs to the blood of Numenor? No, said Aragorn. They just ran over my head. At this point, Gimli arrives with his introductory pratfall, and we realise that he has drawn the comic relief short straw for the movie. Not noted for his witty repartee in the book, Gimli nevertheless seizes the opportunity to talk about something other than Mithril and cracks a joke about dwarfs and short distances. Donning a red nose, he stumbles off to the west. His beard is wild and he is sweaty and dirty. He looks like he's just tongue-kissed a bramble thicket. Aragorn is likewise showing signs of wear and tear, but Since he's looked like that since the inn at Bree, nobody notices. Legolas, meanwhile, still has perfect hair, still braided, and appears remarkably clean. Yet he has no backpack. Where does he keep his brush? Aragorn finds the brooch. Not lately do the loaves of Lothlorien fool, he opines. Legolas sniggers. Not lately do the loofahs of Lothlorien feel, he tries again. Legolas sniggers some more. Aragorn threatens to give him a clip over the ear. The elf seems delighted and asks if he can do something about his split ends at the same time. Yes, these kind of mistakes in translation often happen between races. Back in Isengard, Saruman is stirring up unrest amongst the Dunnylanders, people who used to live in the towns and houses of Rohan, but are now forced to live in outside toilets in the hills above Isengard, 30 to a bowl. Saruman gives them a rousing speech demanding that they be tough and ruthless, but in his secret heart he suspects that he may have to settle for rough and toothless. We are now taken to Rohan, land of the proto-mullet, where big men with big hair ride around on big horses while waiting for the panel van to be invented. The Dunnylanders and Uruks are burning the primary crop of the Westfold, the ricotta trees, presumably where the cheese comes from. In Edoras, we meet four more characters very quickly. Eowyn and Eomer, son of Eomund, Theoden, son of Thengel, and Grima, son of a bitch. Eomer gallops up and down the country, slaying Uruk to earn his keep. He's on an Uruk for the dole scheme. Thank you. Eowyn appears to spend all her time galloping up and down the hall, in and out of the front door, with her skirt slightly raised. Perhaps she has a tiny pony hidden under there. Theoden looks like something the cat dragged in, and Grima looks like something the cat threw up. Grima wants Eowyn's body, Eowyn wants Grima's head. Eomer wants Saruman's head, Saruman wants Theoden's crown, and Theoden wants changing. Grima wants to be Saruman, Eowyn wants to be Eomer, Eomer wants to be Theoden, and Theoden wants to be able to move his head without raising dust. No one wants to be Grima. Grima tries to alleviate this confusion by having Eomer banished, since his name and haircut are so similar to his sister's, and Grima doesn't want any embarrassing mistakes. Eomer takes his frustrations out on the band of Uruks currently transporting Merry and Pippin. This is a narrow escape for the hobbits, as they are nearly eaten by the Cockney orcs. At this point, I thought it might be nice to have a sort of tribute to My Fair Lady, since the orcs are all talking Cockney anyway. So they can do this. All I want is a piece of meat, something tasty for me to eat. Some pickled hobbit's feet, oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Someone's hand resting on my knee, knuckle sandwiches for my tea. Who tastes like chicken to me, oh, wouldn't it lovely? Horrified by the bad singing, the two hobbits scamper to the woods as the Rohirrim arrive and soon make the orc chorus change their tune. Oh, I'm getting massacred this morning. Hack slash the killing's what we like. Rein in the horses, pile up the corpses, and stick my head upon a spike. But that's just silly. Merry and Pippin encounter Treebeard, an Ent. The Ents are slow and boring, have no social life, speak a language no one else could understand, and can't remember what women look like. The two hobbits immediately grasp the awful truth. He's a folkie! Merry and Pippin frantically try to make a break for it back to the murderous cannibalistic Uruks. But Treebeard has a very firm grip. Meanwhile, in the dead marshes, Sam, Frodo and Gollum hop from tussock to bog. Gollum warns them to stay away from the lights, but Frodo, who has the same sense of preservation as a dazzled rabbit, stops to stare and nosedives into a bog. Underwater, he sees strange ghostly figures who hold up cards saying 5.6, 5.7. The elf judge gives him a 6 and tries to throttle him. Gollum saves him, but possibly only for later. Sam is disgruntled by this display of demarcation and curses the fact that he never joined the SLUME, the Sidekicks and Lickspittles Union of Middle-earth. And then the cry of the ring wraith is heard in the land. The trio cowers under a bogberry bush and listens as the music rises. The Nazgul. Good. How's it been for you?